Hello, my friends. How are you tonight? You know, I wasn't going to record a video tonight. I was just laid back in my bunk. It's winter time. I got the heater turned on, and I was all nice and cozy in my blanket. And I realized, you know what? I'm just going to get up and record this, because when a video hits you, it hits you, and you got to get up and do it. Now, I know I've already earned the reputation as the funny guy here on YouTube, the funny redneck that drives a truck and is railing against Donald Trump, and I think that's a damn good reputation to have. I think as far as YouTube channels go, that's the recipe for success. Look, there's a point to what I'm saying, though. You know, you walk around telling people, look, there's this trucker on YouTube that despises Donald Trump, and he says some funny stuff sometimes, too. Oh, yeah. That's a recipe for success. But tonight, my friends, I don't know that I'm going to be the funny guy. We're going to have a conversation, all right? Somebody had referred to me as their emotional support redneck, and through the comments, they have given me their blessing to continue to use that title. And I'm going to carry that badge of honor, if you will, and I will do my best to be here for the new friends I have made over the next 4 years. Because I laid here in my bed thinking, man, do we got a long 4 years in front of us. And it sucks to be in a country where less than half the people realize that we've got a huge fucking problem on our hands. Now, through the course of doing this channel, obviously, we have heard our fair share from Trump supporters and what they think of what has happened. And one thing that they keep telling me is, we already know what we're getting with Donald Trump. We had him for 4 years already. Nothing really went that wrong, so I think we're okay. And it's unfortunate that that's the standard we've set in America now. What was once the beacon of hope, the greatest country in the world, yeah, what could go that wrong is kind of how we do things now. But if we were all paying attention, we know that a lot went wrong under the last Donald Trump administration. I, as a truck driver, saw his destruction firsthand. I saw as he denied a pandemic, said it did not happen, it was a hoax, it was fake, which led millions to, sorry, sometimes I get a little ahead of myself, which led to millions of people losing their jobs, which led to deaths that should not have happened if we had just listened to the science. And led to, as I've said in my videos before, me making a lot of money because a lot of people were freaking the fuck out, which eventually led to a crash that led to a lot of truck drivers making very little money. This was all done on Donald Trump's watch, but we seem to forget that this ever happened. But that's not the point of what I'm trying to say with this part of the video. People say we had him for 4 years and nothing went wrong. And we know what we're getting with Donald Trump, but they're failing, my friends, to pay attention to the actual fucking issues. And it makes me mad. I'll be the funny guy as much as I can for you guys, but sometimes I'm going to get mad about shit too. What they're failing to pay attention to is that Donald Trump has spent the last 8 years through his administration and through his little yes men in the government, destroying the very institutions that are put in place to keep presidents in line, to keep them from becoming fucking tyrants. He has spent his time destroying that because we've got weak Republican men running our country that bow down to Donald Trump. And you know what? I've never been a Republican. But there was a time I could look at a Republican and say, that's a strong man right there. That's a man that, even though I don't agree with his values, I respect the fact that he stands up for his values and he does what he thinks is right. And that Republican Party is long fucking gone now. A lot of times it's the same people, but the party is gone and they no longer stand up for themselves. My God, we would have lost the Affordable Care Act along the last time around if it wasn't for John McCain standing up and saying, I'm not going to vote for this. I'm voting against this. You know, John McCain, the war hero, the very, very man in this country that Republicans used to praise and say he was a hero, and God bless that man, and we will do everything in our power to take care of him. The same person that Donald Trump said he doesn't like because he doesn't respect people that got captured because John McCain was a prisoner of war. My friends, I've never been to war. But I don't even see a need for war. But I'm wrong about that. Because my worldview is very narrow, because I just live here in America, and Americans are very fucking dumb. And we don't see what's going on outside of our own goddamn borders most of the time. There may have been a need for war. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. John McCain was a man's man. That was a guy that did what he needed to do. He did what he thought was right up until his dying fucking breath. And even though he was a Republican, I respect the fuck out of that man. He stood on stage when he was running against Barack Obama. Somebody had called him something. They were asking him a question, and they had made reference to, I don't remember exactly what. They had made reference to Obama not being a citizen, or maybe lying about his birth certificate, or being a Muslim or something like that. And John McCain grabbed the mic back from that woman, and he put his hand up. And he said, listen, he's a good man, Barack Obama. Me and him just happen to disagree on policy. And that was the last dying breath of the Republican Party. Because now all we got is spineless men that don't stand up for themselves. All right, so on top of Donald Trump spending the last 8 years dissecting the guardrails that keep a president in line, which is a fucking cornerstone of American democracy, did we forget that his Supreme Court has made it, the words escape me right now, but I'm going to think real hard about this, my friends. They have made it so that presidents have immunity for their actions. Who did they do that for? Not for Joe Biden. Because like Joe Biden or not, I doubt, and hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, because Joe Biden's still in office. I doubt Joe Biden is going to say, I have presidential immunity, let's do some crazy shit. But you know who is going to say, I have presidential immunity, let's do some crazy shit? Donald fucking Trump. That's who. That's who. So when we listen to the Trump Republicans, because they are not Republicans, the Republican Party as it used to be would be absolutely ashamed of Trump Republicans. I miss when Republicans were just an opposition party instead of a fucking cult that was taken over by a madman. But what I'm trying to say, fuck, I forgot what I was trying to say. I had to go back and watch my own video to remember what I was saying. That's how fired up I am. But when Donald Trump supporters come to us and they tell us, we survived 4 years under Donald Trump and we know what we're getting, I fucking strongly disagree. We don't know what we're getting. Last time Donald Trump had people that would keep him in line, that would tell him no. John McCain, that's one example. We could probably go on and on with a ton of examples. The generals that he had in that referred to him as a fascist this time around. Now, those things are gone. What do we do with that? Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't really know. Do we see our country for the next 4 years? Look, one thing you guys need to understand about me is I am not the media, all right? I am a person that just sees what I see, and I talk about my feelings and my thoughts on that thing. So, with that in mind, I don't know these next things to be 100% true. I read a couple articles, and I went on about my way. But, according to some of these articles, Donald Trump has suggested to Canada that if they don't fall in line, they can just become a 51st state. We could annex Canada because Donald Trump don't want them to fall in line. Does anyone see a problem with this? Not his supporters. They don't. All Donald Trump supporters understand is they won. Let's keep in mind, and this can be harsh, all right? But the vast majority of Donald Trump supporters are fucking losers. So when they see, we won, that's all they know. And they're happy with that. They will be happy to do anything Donald Trump tells them to do. It is a fucking cult. And that's all there is to it. And there's nothing we can do about it because telling cult members that they're in a cult doesn't do anything. There are still people to this day that support Warren Jeffs. And probably other cult leaders. Can you believe it? I can't believe it either. But they will do whatever he says. And they will cheer for whatever he says. And they do not care what the cost is to them or to other people. And to me, that is very concerning. Another thing that I read about that came up is he said, just how much should we invade Mexico? How much should we invade Mexico? The amount of how much should we invade Mexico is none. We should not invade Mexico. Mexico is a country just like every other country. Sure, they've got their fucking problems, but they are an independent country. There's another word for that, but that's, you know, guys know what I mean. We should not invade Mexico. Mexico is a huge partner to the United States. I know that Trump supporters don't want to hear that. They don't want to know that the brown people are helping this country as much as they're helping their own country. It's a give and take. We work together because this is global. This isn't small world shit anymore where it takes fucking 8 days by horse and buggy to get 100 miles away. This is global. We work together. But the concerning part is, once Donald Trump's in office, if he actually floats that idea then and says how much should we invade Mexico, close to half of our country is going to support that. Does anyone see a fucking problem with this? I do. I very much do. What is he going to do to guys like me? Look, I'm just getting started here. What's he going to do to the people that are out there that have been opposition for him for a long time? You know, you got Tennessee Brando over there. He's a sitting duck. Nothing he can do about it. You got Texas Ball down there. He's a sitting duck. What are they going to do to Brian Tyler Cohen, David Pakman? I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe they won't do anything. But if Donald Trump says do something, they will. What are they going to do to Adam Schiff? Very good politician. May not agree with his policies. But does that warrant his death? No, absolutely it does not. Nancy Pelosi, very strong politician. Do you agree with her policies? Yeah, most people probably don't. She's probably done some shady shit. But the point I'm trying to make is this is kind of fucking terrifying, isn't it? We've got a person heading into office right now where somewhere around 50% of the country will jump off a fucking cliff for this man. They're lemmings. They'll do whatever he says as long as they get to say he won. Is that concerning? I wouldn't do the same for Joe Biden. I wouldn't have done the same for Kamala. If she was wrong, I would have said she was wrong. If Biden's wrong, I'll say he's wrong. But we've got these blind fucking people that will follow him to the end of the earth, no matter what he says, and they will just do it. And he has told us how he plans to be a dictator. He has told us how he intends to invade sovereign nations. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Look at me. I'll get to it eventually. I sure will. You can't just merely suggest the idea that Canada be annexed and turned into a 51st state. You can't ask how much should we invade Mexico. Do you think Donald Trump stops there? Of course he doesn't. This is a power-hungry lunatic that has never stopped at anything in his life. He's a spoiled fucking brat that doesn't know anything about the real world. So with all that in mind, and maybe this is an alarmist video, maybe I'm acting fucking crazy, but I'm seeing that there's some problems here. I don't know what my role is for the next 4 years. I have some plans for this channel, but we have to see how it all shakes out. We have to see how this whole fucking thing works out. Because I have plans. I do. And I know a lot of you out there have plans also. But to those of us that haven't drank the Kool-Aid, that aren't celebrating our victory while the whole world is going, fuck, what is happening right now? We all have to figure out how we're going to resist. And I'm not trying to be an edgelord on the internet and be like, we're the resistance. That's goofy. Right, but we're going to have to figure out how the fuck we're going to be a roadblock every chance we get in every way possible. Whether that's through our voices, through our actions, through anything. Because I feel like people aren't paying attention and that bothers me. Okay? The very man that has beaten the Republican Party into submission has guys like Lindsey Graham, J.D. Vance. That's the two I can think of off the top of my head, but there's probably more. These guys were never Trumpers. They said Trump ain't shit and he won't ever be shit. He can tell those men what to do anytime he wants. I watched it in the blue collar world, and I'll do a video on it sometimes if we all live that long. But I watched every fucking redneck and hillbilly out here say they ain't ever gonna support Donald Trump. They don't give a fuck about no rich kid from New York City, and they ain't ever supporting that motherfucker. All bend the knee and do what Donald Trump told them to do. This is not fucking normal, my friends. There's a problem here. I don't know what the next 4 years holds. I have no fucking idea. But I am going to do everything I can do to be a thorn in the side of every bullshit Donald Trump policy. Everything that he wants to do. I will not go along with it. If he wants to do some crazy shit like invade Canada, my life's work here of driving this truck will not help. Absolutely not. I'll park this motherfucker and walk away. If he wants to invade Mexico, I will not help. I am not part of this. I do not support invading Mexico. There's a lot to think about over the next 4 years. And, my friends, it's tough. It's tough to think about. I never thought I would be living in this America. I never thought that this is what we would be looking for. And I know there's Trump supporters right now. They're in my comments. They're saying, you're a crybaby, you're overreacting, all these things. But I've been paying attention. All right, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist when I say these things. Let me recap. Every Republican that was against Donald Trump now does what Donald Trump says. The Supreme Court is mostly appointed by Donald Trump. Presidential immunity has been granted by that very Supreme Court. And Donald Trump, before he has went into office, has suggested so far 2 countries he thinks we should invade. I will not go down as a person that was just following orders. I will not go down as a person that was doing what I was told. I will go down defiant as fuck, my friends. Because I'll be damned if I do anything that goes after my people to the south in Mexico. Don't know them, but I ain't got nothing against them. I'll be damned if I turn any of this nonsense, any of this bullshit towards the people of Canada. And as hard as it's going to be sometimes, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do everything I can, and I will not turn against the people of this country either. I would rather go down as a person with integrity, with morals, with values, than ever be a person that continues to stay on this planet, that did what they were told, live their lives in fear, and all that bullshit. But as I laid here in my bed, I realized this might be scary times. Because there's nothing in place anymore to keep Donald Trump in line. I'll shut up. That's the end of my video. Maybe I'm being crazy. And I told you guys 2 videos ago, sometimes you're going to get some knee-jerk reactions out of me. This might be one of them. But we, the good people in this country that still don't have our heads in our asses, we got to do the right thing. And that's all we can do. That's it. I'm going to go lay down. Bye.